Hello and welcome to the Naked Expat channel. If you're between 60 and 75 and you're still searching for something or someone to fill that hole inside you, I want you to pause, not out of fear, but out of clarity. Because sometimes the very thing we think will save us, companionship, love, a new relationship, can actually be the poison we drink when we're most vulnerable. At that age, you're not who you were when you were 25. You've lived through decades of hope, of loss, of building things and watching them fall apart. You've raised children, buried loved ones, made sacrifices you never thought you'd survive. Your soul is seasoned. Your time is precious. And yet here's the danger. Loneliness creeps in, whispering seductively that a partner will make everything better. But what if it doesn't? By 60 or 70, your patterns are carved deep. Your routines, your values, your way of seeing the world, they've been refined over a lifetime. To bring another person into that landscape is not a light decision. It's not romantic comedy material. It's often war between independence and compromise, between hard-earned peace and sudden chaos. And many underestimate how much of themselves they have to sacrifice. Suddenly, your decisions aren't yours anymore. Your space becomes shared. Your finances get entangled, and in the name of companionship, you risk suffocating under the weight you never anticipated. It's not always about conflict. Sometimes it's silence. The silence of feeling unseen even while someone sits next to you. The tension of compromise that feels like self-erasure. You slowly give up your evenings, your quiet rituals, your pace, until you're no longer sure where you end and the other begins. And here's the cruelest myth, that solitude is a disease and togetherness is the cure. I'd argue the opposite. At this stage of life, solitude can be your sanctuary, a place of reflection, healing, and deep connection with your own soul. Because here's the truth. You're not broken if you're single at 70. You're not forgotten. You're not unloved. Sometimes the deepest love you can offer is to fully accept yourself and find in that silence something sacred. So let's get practical. There are 4 key things that every expat, especially every retired expat, needs to understand before rushing into romance or major commitments abroad. The first one, leave your ego at home. One of the biggest mistakes Western men make when they retire to the East is chasing youth. They see the allure of a much younger woman, energetic, beautiful, full of attention, and it feels like a second chance of life. For some, it's a midlife crisis stretched right into their 60s or even 70s. And fueling this are the countless YouTube channels teaching older men how to date Asian women and how to keep up sexually or get her into bed. These videos stroke egos. They excite you for all the wrong reasons and paint relationships as nothing more than a game. Let's call it out. If you need titillation and pick-up advice at the age of 65, are you really mature enough to handle a genuine relationship? Most of these channels aren't even made by expats. Many are run by local women chasing clicks. They don't understand expat life. They don't understand culture shock or the financial realities that you may face. They're not men. They're not living your experience. Their advice is biased, often crass, down market, and designed to finance their own lifestyle, not safeguard yours. And here's the harsh truth. Men who discount mature, loyal women in favour of arm candy girlfriends usually pay the highest price. They get bled financially dry while looking like foolish, desperate suckers. I once met a retired Brit in Pattaya who bragged about his 22-year-old girlfriend. Within a year, he'd sold his condo, burned through savings, and was paying off her family's debts. When she disappeared, he was renting a single room, he was broke, and he was bitter. Here's the second issue. Don't rush into relationships. Loneliness whispers any partner is better than none, but loneliness clouds judgment. It dulls your discernment, it makes you overlook red flags. At this age, merging lives isn't just about sharing dinners and holidays. It's about absorbing decades of someone else's trauma, baggage, and their expectations. You're not just joining hands, you're joining their past wounds, their financial obligations, even their unresolved family issues. And unlike being 25, you can't just bounce back. The emotional hangover of conflict in your 60s or 70s is heavier. A simple disagreement can feel like an earthquake. That's why you need patience. Time reveals truth. If a partner is right for you, they'll still be right for you in a year or two's time. Don't rush it. Here's the third aspect. Don't cement yourself too soon. This is a huge one. Property. Expats should rarely buy property abroad. Renting keeps you flexible. It keeps your cash liquid and it gives you the freedom to move if a relationship or a city that once felt exciting turns sour. Buying too soon is a trap. It ties you to an area, a culture, and sometimes even a toxic partner. Don't cement yourself in stone when you've only just started to explore. Expats should rarely buy property abroad. Renting provides considerable flexibility and keeps your cash liquid. The fourth aspect is protecting your independence. Living with the wrong partner abroad doesn't just risk your money, it risks your freedom. Suddenly, you're not just paying for yourself, you're paying for their travel, their parents' medical bills, their siblings' tuition, maybe even pressured into raising children again in your 60s or 70s. What starts as companionship quickly becomes obligation, and obligation grows into resentment. Ask yourself, do you want your final decades funding someone else's life? Or do you want it living your own? Here's another example. Another American expat that I met fell for a woman 25 years younger than himself. At first it was exciting and intoxicating, but then came the medical bills for her parents, then tuition fees for her siblings, then the pressure of having another child in his late 60s. He went from retiree to caretaker, financially and emotionally exhausted. He confessed to me over a coffee, I thought I'd found love, but really I just bought myself into servitude. But not every story has to end in regret. A Canadian I knew moved to Chiang Mai. Instead of rushing into romance or buying property, he rented a modest apartment. He stayed single, took his time and built friendships slowly. Those friendships became his family. People he could rely on, go out for dinners with and travel with. He told me, I never felt alone because I chose carefully, and I never feel trapped because I rent. My freedom is intact. That's a success story that we don't hear enough about. Staying single, renting, and building a network of meaningful friendships that protect you from both loneliness and entrapment. So here's the question to ask yourself. Is this relationship adding to your peace or stealing it? Is it love or just a fear of being alone? There's no shame in choosing yourself. In fact, it may be the bravest decision that you ever make. You've earned the right to peace, to dignity, to freedom. Not as a half, but as a whole. Alone perhaps, but never lonely. If you learn to value your own presence and build true friendships along the way. Late life relationships often demand sacrifices that threaten your hard-earned peace. Choose wisely, because once peace is lost, it's not so easily restored. That's my take. If you're planning retirement abroad, think very hard before committing to partners, property, or financial obligations that can rob you of the very freedom you went abroad to find. Share your experiences in the comments. Have you seen these pitfalls play out for yourself or for others? Or do you know someone who's thriving by choosing independence? Let's start the conversation. Until next time, enjoy.